if you look at that and you say, like, I think everything looks good if you're not the Republican Party. So it's like, I understand why people are critical of him, and I think rightly so. At the same time, like, these people in the Democratic Party, like Ken Martin, the DNC chair, who's like, we just have to do the same thing, but get better on message, whatever that means.
Right, yeah. Keep the policies, but just talk them up better.
Not to be the case.
I agree.
Right? So I think I think he is trying to carve out a 2028 lane. I mean, look, he's breaking news. He's running, barring something crazy happening. And, I'm interested to see how it plays. I don't think that many people are paying attention right now, but I'm interested to see once people do start to pay attention how it plays.
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem fundamentally is if it's so transparent, do people have the attention span to tie what he's done from, let's say, 2020 to 2024 to what he's running on in 2028?
Yep.
Are they going to buy this political transformation? Is it going to be a long enough on-ramp for him to make this change that people are going to say, like, oh, well, maybe Gavin Newsom's actually not that bad? Or are they going to look back at COVID, look back at the homeless crisis, look back at the exodus of people from California and the high taxes and all of these really economic depressing policies and say, sorry, dude, we're not buying it?
Yeah, and you know what's interesting? I mean, I always told people, like, the happiest Democrat on November 6, 2024 was Gavin Newsom. Because if Kamala Harris had won, Gavin Newsom was never going to get to run for president. Right? Because Kamala Harris would have won, run again. Gavin Newsom would still be young enough to run, but it's kind of a hard case to make, like, hey, we've just had a California Democrat be president for 8 years. Why don't we have it for another 8 years? But I also think that election proved, at least to me, that I remember Trump would run these ads or talk. He'd be like, "Comrade Kamala." That's like my best Trump impersonation. It's not very good.
Not very good.
Yeah, sorry.
That's okay.
It needs work. I'm polishing it. And I'd always be like, I mean, that's not going to work. Like, people know she's not like a communist. And you know what? Like, I actually think that a lot of people in this country look at California and San Francisco in particular, where they're both from, and say, like, it's basically a bunch of communists, a woke left communists. And I wonder, in this kind of like lowest common denominator politics, like, I don't know how many people, let's say Gavin Newsom's the nominee, I don't know how many people are going to like go in and like deeply examine his record as the governor of California, but they're going to be like, wait, he was the mayor of San Francisco and then the governor of California. And I just wonder, given what we saw about Harris, where I think a lot of people were open to this idea that she's this wild liberal because of where she's from. I don't know. I'm skeptical of Gavin for that reason.
Yeah, and I mean, the problem with Kamala was that she had taken all of these incredibly progressive positions as recently as 2020, and then was running in 2024 as a moderate Democrat. And,
problem solver.
Right?
Yeah.
And obviously, you can't run in a Democratic primary and take all of these far left positions.
Well, that's your on-ramp question.
Well, I think that answers it, right?
Long enough for him?
Exactly. Because for Kamala, it obviously wasn't.
No, and it's like, I think people are okay if you change some, but it can't be overnight. And the transparency thing, I mean, like, yeah, I think it's very obvious why Gavin Newsom's doing what he's doing, but I don't think anyone's really paying attention yet, aside from people like us. So it's like, in 2027, can he point to, like, well, I've tried to crack down on these things? Like, is it credible? I think the on-ramp thing is the exact right thing. Does he have enough time to roll the clock back? I'm skeptical he does, because, again, before he was the governor, he was the attorney general. Before he was lieutenant governor. Before he was lieutenant governor, he was the mayor of San Francisco. Like, there's a lot of
material,
votes, statements, appearances on TV that can be mined.
One of the things that I've been saying about his podcast, though, and I know I've said it before on this show, so apologize to the viewers who have heard it like 8 times, but I think the smart thing about it is by having these conversations with really battle-tested conservatives who debate a lot, he's able to sharpen his arguments as to why the political change has happened, whereas when Kamala was asked about why she had changed policies, it was word salad and nonsense, and she couldn't really explain it.
I remember her explanation, and I thought to myself, gosh, I remember thinking, if this is the best they can do, she's in deep trouble, because do you remember what she said? My values haven't changed. That's how she explained, like, well, you were a very lefty candidate in 2019, early 2020, and now you're not. That doesn't make any sense. Like, that explanation makes no sense. Gavin Newsom, I mean, I think it's hard to your point because he's been governor since 2018. It's not like he started these things right when he became governor, but at least he can say, like, look, I listened to people, I heard arguments, I'm always evolving, I want to do the best for my state, and I think this is the best for my state. Like, it's a little bit more plausible, even though I think it is obvious why he's doing it. It's a little bit more sellable. But man, the my values haven't changed thing.
That was so
just
bad.
awful.
So bad.
And she didn't sell it either. It was like they had told her to say my values haven't changed, but no one said, and then say this. You know what I mean? It was like,
Yeah,
she was like,
just saw
my
the
values haven't
ellipses.
changed. And it was like, dude, the camera is still rolling. You know that's happening, right?
I
Like,
wonder too with Governor Newsom, one of the sort of consequences of this political tide change is that he's going to lose that sort of 20% of the Democratic base that is very heavily progressive.
Yeah.
Is he going to be able to make that up with independents or like disaffected Republicans?
My bet is he probably looks at the field, right, and he assumes the following people are running. Josh Shapiro of Pennsylvania, Gretchen Whitmer of Michigan, J.B. Pritzker of Illinois, Buttigieg, and AOC. And I think he probably figures AOC is probably going to be that. It's going to be hard to dislodge that 20% from. They're going to be for her. Maybe they're for me second or third, but they're going to be for her first. And so I got to concentrate on winning the other 80% from Shapiro, Whitmer, to some extent, Buttigieg. Pritzker's trying to go for the 20%. I think that's probably his math. And like, okay, well, if I look like the nominee against J.D. Vance, they're going to be for me anyway. You know, because again, I always say, like, you don't have to win 100% of the primary vote. You just got to win one more vote than the other people who come in behind you. So my guess is he's looking at it like that to the extent he's looking at it strategically. But you're right. The danger for him, right, is what if the progressive, very left vote isn't 20% of the Democratic vote, it's 45%.
Yeah,
like,
especially in a
then,
primary.
Then you start to get into the map struggles to add up.
Coming up, why are Yale professors sounding the alarm and fleeing the country? That's next.